what's up? This is Pierre from Simple Plan, and you're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Congratulations with the new single. I am still shocked at this track. I love the fact that you and Derek from Sum 41 came together, and I love that this single exists. Can you take me into the studio and kind of talk to me about the creative process behind this track and why you felt Derek was the appropriate feature for this record?
Yeah, so this whole album that we're releasing right now was written actually before strangely enough, was we're going back a couple of years here of making this song. I remember we were in the studio with Zach Cervini and this guy Chris Griotti, and we were Chuck and I going there for a writing session. And the way that the writing process usually goes for us is that Chuck usually has like a book where he writes all these like song titles, and there was one of them that was called "You Didn't Ruin My Life," and it was he had a concept of like you may have brought me down in my life. You may have done all these things to me. However, I'm sorry to tell you, you didn't ruin my life. And I thought that was really cool. So we kind of ran with that idea, and we did a session for a whole day with those guys at Zach's studio, and we kind of put together a little demo of this song, and it went by pretty quick. It was a pretty quick write, and we recorded the whole demo within a few hours, and then we went home. And I remember both Chuck and I being like, I think it's a pretty good song. Like, it sounds a little different for us, but it's pretty good. And then we played it for the rest of the band. And eventually we all were like, no, this is a great song. We fell in love with it. And so we went back with Zach and re-recorded the whole thing with the band properly without being a demo here. And then we, when we had all the songs for the record, we love doing collaborations. We love doing, featuring stuff. We've done awesome collaborations with like Mark Hoppus from Blink-182, Rivers from Weezer, and plenty of people. So we're thinking like, who could be a featuring artist on this album? And then we got to the point where we wanted to do a tour with Sum 41 guys. And, we've been trying to work on this for years. We've been kind of knocking on their door, trying to get them to come on tour with us. And finally, after all these tries, it was happening. So I told Chuck, I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a song together while we go on tour together? It would help to sell tickets for the tour, and it would get fans super excited. We're two Canadian bands that grew up side by side. Our careers have been sort of parallel in a weird way for the last 20 years. Yet we've never collaborated. We'd never like toured together. We never collaborated together. So it'd be a great surprise for the fans out there. So I texted Derek, and I didn't know if he was going to say yes. And he heard the song. He's like, I love the song. It's awesome. And he had some concerns about the range of my vocals are a little lower in that song compared to where he usually sings. And I said, listen, whatever you got to do to make it, in your range, pop up, like sing a third higher or a fifth higher, whatever. But we'd love to have you on the song. So I think he's got a home studio. I said, listen, have fun with it, sing it. And if you like what you got, we'd love to have you on it. So he's like, okay, let me give it a shot. And he sang on it and then sent it back, said, I love it. I'd love to be part of it. So it was super exciting for us. And I knew that the fans would love it, and it's a bit of a longer song. It's not that long, but because it starts with the chorus, it goes chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, and chorus. So it gets a little bit long, and I felt like bringing in another voice would really help the song stay exciting. Keep the fans excited or the listener excited. So I love the way it helped the song, and I love his voice, and I've always been a fan of his voice anyway. So it's been really cool.
I'm still like, I can't believe that you guys haven't done anything until now.
I know. Same.
Because Simple Plan has toured with so many other artists that, like Sugar Ray being one of them, that doesn't make sense sometimes, but it does at the same time. But the fact that Sum 41 wasn't one of them. So I'm like super excited about that. Now, the fact that you got to team up with Derek on it, and he got to do his thing. Once he did his thing, like, would you say that you had to do anything different vocally to kind of finalize the track to make it go perfectly with his vocals?
No, it actually, I think I added a bit of back vocals in one of his little parts, but the song was completely done like a couple of years ago, and it was me singing through the whole thing. So he basically took my vocals out, and I said, "You just pop yours in there." And I said, "If you want to sing any more, just go ahead." And so we basically just let him sing his part. And then I think I did add a little back vocal. I supported some back vocal in the little kind of pre-chorus part. But no, it fit perfectly. I mean, the guy, you know, we come from the same worlds. We come from the same pop punk worlds. And, you know, I think after all these years, we're good at what we do, you know, so he sang his parts and it just felt perfect. So no need to change anything.
What was yours and Chuck's experience working with Zach Zerbini? This guy is like pretty much taking over the pop punk scene right now.
Yeah, I love Zach. We met Zach originally when he was John Feldman's basically his assistant. He would basically he was doing all the work as John was the producer, but you know Zach was the engineer. Sorry, not assistant. He was his engineer. That's a wrong reference there. So we met him years and years ago, and I love the kid, and I kind of realized back then that he was doing a lot of the work, you know, when John was producing, he was doing a lot of the work. He was doing a lot of like the programming and learning so much. Because I think when you work with John Feldman, he's such a hardworking guy that I remember Zach saying like he was working 6 to 7 days a week, like 12, 14 hours a day. So he was like, it was really, you know, kind of the music production school for him. But I did notice even back then that I was impressed with his talent and his quickness. He was so quick at doing stuff on the computer, you know, on Pro Tools and production wise. When he left John, I was immediately like, I want to work with Zach. I want to work with Zach. And I remember even back when he was working with John, I felt like it would be, because I'm a producer as well, but Zach is a next level as far as like his knowledge and what he can do. So I've always wanted to keep working with him, and we did. You know, as soon as he left, being John's technician or whatever you call it, his engineer, and started going on his own, we started working with him from the get go, and it's been really awesome. Always love what he does. I think his sound is amazing. I think he's really pushing the sound of rock into a more modern, more slick and powerful, sort of like pop. Because pop music now, because pop is so you know, all the sounds are their you know their samples, their synthesizers. So everything sounds really punchy. And rock, because it's usually tracked drums and guitars and bass, it sounds a little more mushy. It's not quite as direct as samples. And Zach has been able to kind of bridge the gap between those two sounds. He brings that pop punch to rock, and it's so much more powerful. And he just has, and the vocal sound he comes up with is amazing. And I love producing with him. I love, you know, he's actually mixed I think he mixed, 10 of our 11 songs on our album. And he's produced 2 of them, which are some of the best sounding ones on there. So I love him. He's a great guy. He's a young guy. He's super humble. He's not a cocky producer. He's just really humble and nice guy. Super talented. And I'd work with him forever. I love him.
How would you say he helped change the dynamic of this new record? And where do you feel Simple Plan is on this new album?
Well, on the 2 songs that he's actually produced, which are The Antidote and This One Ruined My Life, which are the 2 songs that we actually released, what I really liked with him is it reminded me of working with Bob Rock in some ways, because it was like no messing around. Like you record, if the idea is good, we do it and it's done and we move on. And it's more spontaneous. It's less like let's like think everything through and loop it around. It's like, no, this sounds cool, let's go next. And at the end, I think it gives you something that's more exciting. It's maybe not as planned. It's more, no pun intended, but it's like more, it's just exciting, you know? So that's been really, really awesome. I've enjoyed working with him because of that. So on the songs that we produced with him, he's really helped us make them more spontaneous. And the ones that he's mixed, he's basically took whatever, because a lot of the songs that he's mixed, I produced them. And he basically took what we put together, Jay Van Puderoy and myself, who's the other producer on the record. And he's taken all the things that we've done and just injected it with like some nitrous oxide, and just like, he just makes everything sound better, you know? So the drums sound beefier, the vocals sound more, they just sound just better. Everything just sounds better. So he's done a great job.
Did you say Jade Puget for the other producer?
Jay Van Puderoyan. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, damn, you're working with Jade Puget too?
No, he goes by JVP. He was Brian House's engineer, and he still is, I think. I wanted to produce some of this record myself, but I felt like it'd be good to have someone who had a little more of an engineer, sound engineer knowledge. So we brought him in to produce with me.
What about lyrically? Like, how do you feel you are this time around? I mean, you have so many years of experience. So how do you feel your songwriting, and Chuck's as well, has kind of evolved on this upcoming record?
I think it's been great. I think that, I've realized more and more that after all these years, I mean, I'm starting to, whenever I write songs, lyrics come to me quicker now. I feel like the word association comes quicker, and I'm becoming a better songwriter as the years go by. I love the subject matter on this record. It's really about life. It's about overcoming adversity. It's about, even the song Ruin My Life is really about, I find we were inspired by sort of like bullying and how that can affect people, but also now more and more, we have kids, more and more how cyberbullying, and even that could even happen to me. Like, how many people talk so much shit online, that are so not afraid to say such horrible things to people, that they would probably never say in front of their face, but they're saying this stuff in comments on Instagram and in comments on YouTube on about Simple Plan, about me, or about people out there that are going through life. And I just find that we needed a song that would address that and be like, you know what? You can say whatever you want, but I hate to break it to you, but you didn't ruin my life. I'll be fine. You know what I mean? And I think those types of songs are so important for our fan base, because I realized over the years that we have become in some way a lifeline for a lot of these people. So many fans that we've met have told us man, my life has been really difficult these last couple of years. I really need a new Simple Plan record. I need one now. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a big responsibility. Like, people that you write songs and they want to listen to it and find hope in them, So we try to put a lot of that in there. There's Wake Me Up When This Nightmare Is Over. It's about that. Ruin My Life. The Antidote. It's about finding what it is in your life, whether it's a person or something in your life that gives you a purpose. And then there's the love songs that kind of sprinkle through there, to give you a little positivity. But it's always, I think that the thing that we always like to do is, I like to talk about stuff when life gets hard, but I want to talk about it in a way that gives you hope. And sometimes we don't necessarily always mention that hope in the song, but you feel it through the music. You feel like the song Wake Me Up When This Nightmare Is Over. I feel like it's a song about how stuff is just going so horribly, but you feel through the music that you're going to be okay.
The fact that you are, getting ready to not necessarily release this record, but you're in the process of this album, and at the same time, you guys in March, you guys are going to be hitting 20-year anniversary of the debut album. So, do you go back in time to that record and kind of find a way to pay some homage to it on this new record at the same time?
Yeah, a lot of it for this new album, we kind of I don't want to say that we were listening to a lot of Simple Plan on this record, but
who inspired you, Simple Plan?
Yeah, in some ways we did go back to I love the second album, Still Not Getting Any. I love the way it sounds. We did it with Bob Rock. It sounds like Welcome to My Life, or Perfect World, or those kind of songs. And we definitely tried to embrace what people love about Simple Plan. We tried to be like, what do people love about it? What do they want us to because at some point I'm a talented enough person that I could make a record that's going to sound nothing like Simple Plan. You know what I mean? I could write something else. But I realized that people don't want to hear that from Simple Plan. If I want to do that, I could do a solo project and I could do a country record or something, whatever I want to do. That's fine. But at the end of the day, we've created this sound with this band, and we have a loyal fan base who love what we do, and we're good at it. And it's not a cop out to give them what they want, but it's also paying tribute to yourself and being and embracing who you are as a band, and sort of looking back at how what sound got us to where we're at, and try to make the best version of that in 2022. Have those songs that remind you of Notepads, but that just feel like a new version and a better version, and songs that'll remind you of Welcome to My Life, but that'll be hopefully even better. So that was kind of the inspiration behind this one.
As far as a better version, because you've been able to work with so many different producers, Arnold Lani from the debut album to Bob Rock to now Zach Cervini, someone that's a lot newer. Which producer, in your experience, do you feel has helped you, has had more impact on being a better vocalist for you?
For a better vocalist, I would say it might be Bob Rock, because Bob Rock really taught me. What he would make me do is he would make me sing it, and I'd always be the perfectionist in me who wanted to sing it really, really good. And then after a few takes and he knew he had everything he needed, he would say, now I want you to sing it like you don't give a shit, like full blown energy. You have to be almost like it feels like it's too much. And then I'd be like, all right, cool, I'll do that. And I sang it like with exaggerated energy. And then most of the time he'd be like, that was your best take. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I need to like unleash the crazy guy inside and let it go and not worry about the pitch too much and the timing and just give it as much energy as I possibly can. And that's what kind of defines it. So vocally, I think that he taught me a lot about that. So whenever I do vocals, I try to remember that final take should be the wild take. And then a lot of times what I'll do now, because I'm producing myself, if I'm copying my own vocals, I'll take pieces of that crazy take and I'll slot it into some cool parts where it makes sense, you know. But as far as other things to produce, I think that every producer I've worked with has taught me something. And maybe our first producer, Arnold Lanny, who was an amazingly talented person, keyboard player, piano player, singer, and amazing producer. He taught me so many little things about dynamics. And I think because of the age that we were when we made our first record and how green we were at the time, the things that he taught me, maybe I think, were even more impactful because I didn't know anything. You know, we were just, we've been in a band before that for about 6 years. I had made a couple records under my belt, but it was really some skate punk kind of stuff. So the things he taught me, I still use today about dynamics and making sure you can get really quiet. Because if you want to be loud all the time, it doesn't sound loud anymore. It's just, you have to be quiet to get to loud. But a lot of those kind of simple things. But everybody, even Zach, I learned stuff from Zach on the technical side. He's helped me kind of produce my own stuff. And whenever I have questions about like, hey, how do you do that? I'll text him or email him like, hey, Zach, I need some help. He's like, oh, use this plugin and do this. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks.
When you go back to that debut album with Arnold, do you remember like what really kickstarted the writing process for this record? And at the same time, like which song do you feel kind of challenged you guys to either finalize or just like make sure it stays on the record?
Yeah. Well, the first album, some of the first songs that have remained with us that we wrote, the first one was "I'd Do Anything," was like one of the first songs that we wrote as Simple Plan, because Chuck and Jeff and Sebastian were trying to start a band. They're trying to find another singer because they didn't want me to be the singer, because we had a falling out with Chuck in my previous band. But after failing to find anyone that could do the job, they came back to me, and we wrote the song "I'd Do Anything." It's one of the first songs that we did. I'm trying to remember, like, it was a crazy time we just wanted to sound like a Blink-182. We wanted to be, like Green Day, Blink-182, all that kind of stuff. And we wanted to take the music to the next level, to sort of push forward that whole movement of pop punk kind of re-emerging, or emerging really. I'm sorry, what was the question again? I got lost in my answer.
At the same time, which song would you say kind of challenged you guys to either finalize or make sure that it stays on the record?
Right. So "I Do Anything" was one of the first songs that we did. And then, so that was that one. There was "I'm Just a Kid." And those were two of the songs that were in the very beginning of what we did. But then the song "Perfect" was one that it took a little while to figure out how we're going to record that song. We were inspired, we were at Chuck's house and wrote this song about feeling like we were never going to be good enough for our parents because, we're quitting school. We got these jobs and, our parents like, you should go back to school. You're wasting your life. How are you going to make money in life? And I'm like, I don't care about money. I want to be in music. So it was hard for them to accept that. Even though they always encouraged us, it was hard for them to accept that we're going to put everything else aside and go with music. But the song "Perfect" was originally written as a ballad that would have a big chorus every time, like drums and guitars, and it was this big rock song. And Arnold was like, no, it's going to be way more impactful if we build up the verse and the pre-chorus, and then when the chorus hits, we're just going to go boom, and all the energy is going to drop, and it's going to be just vocals and guitar. And I was like, what? That's not that's not impactful. That's not heavy at all. That's not like we want that whole energy. And he said, you don't understand. If you take away that and you come back to this lyric where it's because we lost it all, and it's just you and the guitar, it's going to be so much more impactful, and the lyric is going to connect so much deeper. And I just didn't get it. I was like, this guy is crazy. We need to jam through this shit. And we tried it, and as soon as we did, I was like, okay, this old man is onto something. And he wasn't even that old at the time, but that was one that it kind of like caught me by surprise, where I thought I knew what I was doing, but I wasn't at all. And that really defines that song, how that chorus drops down to very, very small, and just the lyrics and the guitar. And then when it came out, we always felt it was kind of a big song that could be big, but it was never going to be a single. And as time went on, and we did I Do Anything, and we did Addicted, and I'm Just a Kid, our fan base started to react insanely to that song. We'd play shows, and like the front row would be crying to this song, and we're like, what? And the president of our label, Lava, his name is Jason Flom. He told us, like, I think, was it him? I think he said, my kids love this song, and his kids were super, super young. And it was that one, and then I think his kids also like the song "Shut Up" on the next record. But he was like, the song "Perfect" is going to be huge. Your fans love it. We're going to push it, and we just kept pushing and pushing. We released it as a single. We made a video, and they put the whole label team behind it, and eventually it became the biggest song Simple Plan ever had. It was the biggest song. It went on, as far as like the Billboard Top 100. It was our highest charting song, and it was amazing. But at first we had no idea. We didn't know it was going to become the song that it was, and we knew fans loved it, but we didn't know it could be more than just sort of an emo favorite.
And that was the first and last time you were stubborn to a producer.
Yeah, exactly. Now I try to realize that they usually have something to offer, and now I try to take that. I try to take that role with other people as well. Like if I could teach someone, because I'm producing people now, and if I can teach them something, I could be like, no, I learned this lesson from this person, or I've learned this through the years. I'm going to be 43 years old this year, so I'm getting like I'm one of the elders.
Now, as far as this new record and mentioning like collaborations, I have a celebrity crush that you know of. Her name is Lolo, and she's been killing it.
Oh, she's awesome.
Like, first of all, like, what really drew your attention to her music when you first discovered her? And secondly, like, what do we have to do to get her on a collaboration with Simple Plan?
Well, we actually, so I think that how I met her, I don't remember, but I think it was like we were going to go on tour with New Found Glory, and we were looking for an act to be on the tour, and we've been trying to be more inclusive and not only have these white boy pop punk bands, try to include with like more women and more people of color or whatever. We're trying to be just more inclusive, so we're looking for a female act to open up the tour. And she came onto the radar because she was doing so well and had some cool songs. And before the tour, we actually wrote a song together. She came here to my house, and Chuck and I wrote a song with her. And I have to finish it. I've been a little slow on finishing it, but the song is awesome. And I can't tell you the title yet, but I think she wants to use it. So we did a song together. It's just her, but I produced it, and it's really, really cool. But I love her. She's super nice. Awesome girl, very talented, very cool voice. I love her songs, and I think she's on her way up to do something really big.
How would you say someone new like that with a fresh take on lyrics inspires you, or how did she inspire you as far as writing goes?
To me, what I think is cool is because I've always written songs for myself, and I've written songs for Simple Plan, and so in some ways I've always been limited to what I sound like. Like I can write a melody and then I can sing it, or I can write a lyric and I can sing it, and I know what it's going to sound like. I know what it's going to come out as. It's going to come out sound like Simple Plan. But writing stuff with other people, especially female, it's really cool because I can write a melody that maybe I wouldn't be able to sing, or maybe it's too high, or maybe it's just too girly, or maybe the lyric doesn't really fit what Simple Plan is. And to have someone like her be here with us and have a whole new world open up to like what we can say and how we can say it, and just be less self-conscious about certain things, about being the guy from Simple Plan. was super fun, and she nailed. I mean, she sang for me here. We recorded her voice, and I was just blown away by how good she was. And I was like, okay, take one, nailed it. Give me one more for safety, but I think we got it. And that's huge, you know, because a lot of people that are artists these days, you watch them live and you're like, God damn, you don't sound so good. So it's always cool to have someone that's put in the work to be a good singer, you know. And I think that she's a good writer as well. She has great lyrical ideas and great melodies. So it's inspiring to see someone younger sort of take over, you know. And I just love seeing that.
That's awesome. Now back to this tour that just got announced today, the Blame Canada tour with Sum 41, and you guys are also taking out Set It Off, and another band that I've been like super excited about that's starting to pop off, Magnolia Park. For this tour, are we expecting more of the 20th anniversary kind of vibes, or are we expecting more of the new stuff?
We're going to do a little bit of both. So because it's the 20th anniversary of our first album, and it's Sum 41's 21st anniversary of their first album, I think we're both going to play those whole albums. But because they're so short, we have a full set of like an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes each. So we got plenty of time to play more stuff. So we want to play some new stuff. We want to play, you know, the other hits from the other records, because we've been lucky enough to have a long career with many, many hits like that are not on the first record, like, you know, Welcome to My Life and Jet Lag, Summer Paradise, and many other songs that have been big for us. So we're going to play basically the first album and then all the favorites, and then sprinkled in with a few new songs. So all of the best. It should be a greatest hits record, a greatest hits concert.
Amazing. And I'm Just a Kid has been recently popping off on TikTok. Ed Sheeran being one of the artists that has done a video for it. Ed Sheeran also just dropped a alternate version of one of his songs with Bring Me the Horizon.
I heard it.
I mean, can we maybe do an alternate version of I'm Just a Kid with Ed Sheeran?
Yeah, we'd love to. I mean, we've always loved collaborations, and you know, I would love to do any of that stuff. And it was so cool to see so many celebrities embrace the I'm Just a Kid challenge. Sometimes I even wonder if they know it's like there's a band playing that song, like if it's just like some TikTok thing, because it's so short. Like I think Drew Barrymore just did one with Alicia Silverstone. Ed Sheeran, Will Smith has done a whole bunch of them, and the whole cast of Friends. It's like I'm just hoping that if I say like, so you know the band Simple Plan, I just hope they don't say like, what's that? Like I hope that they know what song they're using, you know.
It'll be hilarious if they go to your tour and then they're like, oh shit, you covered that song really good.
That's the I'm Just a Kid band. It's the I'm Just a Kid band. We're now the I'm Just a Kid band. For a while we were the What's New Scooby-Doo band. Now we're the I'm Just a Kid band.
That's amazing. You guys have had, you know, so much going on over the years. And I guess to close us off, like I asked New Found Glory this as well, just because of the longevity of the band. And so what is the key to longevity for Simple Plan? And at the same time, like, how do you keep your material fresh over the years?
I'm not sure what the key is. I think for us, one of the big factors is that early on in our career, we wrote some songs that have connected with people in a very, very profound way. You know, songs like Perfect or Untitled or Welcome to My Life. Those songs are the types of songs that not only were they maybe someone's favorite, you know, 20 years ago, but they were someone's favorite in a way that was deep, you know, and they feel like, I love this song. I don't just like it. It wasn't like, oh, that was it. Like, it means a lot to them. And that helps us because it gives them the desire to keep checking in on us, you know, keep seeing, oh, I like that band a lot. I care about that band. And then you got to put up the work, you know, you got to go out there, be good on tour, be good to your fans, you know, try to be accessible. Don't be a dick, and keep writing good music. That's why our records are they're so few and far between, because we really want to make them great. You know, we spend usually like a year and a half on making a record. We pick out the songs to make sure that our fans are going to like them. And then there's timing, there's luck, I guess. I don't know. Also a desire to keep being relevant. Like when the TikTok thing was happening, well, we got on TikTok and we did some TikTok stuff. We try to keep our social media active and yeah, but I guess part of it is sort of an unexplainable thing. Why are we still here? Why are we one of the few bands that have remained relevant this whole time? It's tough to say, but I can tell you one thing, that we work really, really hard and we really care about, and we try to never take it for granted what our fan base has given to us and how grateful we are to still be here today. So it's a lot of hard work, but it's one of those lightning in a bottle thing. You can't really explain it.
Do you guys feel like this record is ready to drop, or is there still a lot of work behind the scenes before we can expect that?
All done. I think we might try to find another collaboration before the end of it, but I think other than that, it's all ready. It's all mixed, ready to go. It sounds great. I'm excited. I think we're going the usual route now. Where people release a couple of songs, and then on the fourth song, the whole thing comes out. But I'm super excited because the fans are going to love it, and I love the way it sounds. I love the songs, and I can't wait to play some of those songs live. It's going to be super fun. And yeah, just super excited.
I can't wait, man. And thank you again for taking the time. I'm excited that I finally got to talk to you. I've spoken with Chuck over the years at Warped Tour, but I'm excited to finally get to talk to you and get your perspective on things.
Likewise. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, man.